Hello, everybody. It's Kyle from Force of Will Tavern. That's right, champion Halloween 2015. We were at Arizona ARG State Championship, and the winner of the event was. God. Brian, I am sick of seeing you on the other side of this camera.
I mean, it's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, yes.
I always have to talk to you about your deck.
Goddamn.
And it's frustrating. Anyway, you did pretty well.
I did decently.
What did you go undefeated?
I went to undefeated in Swiss. I dropped a couple of games, but undefeated in Swiss.
Yeah, well, you did get first in the entire event.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us, what deck did you choose to bring to the event and why?
Why? Okay, all right. So I decided to bring Arla, but it's not just any old Arla deck. It's Arla, but with a main focus on red. Basically, this is Adam Reiser's deck. He got second place at Worlds. He's also on Team Tavern as well. But this is basically his deck. He's been working on it for a really long time. I think ever since he got off the plane from Worlds, basically.
Yeah.
He's been working really hard at it. He's been trying to push us to play it, and then I actually just finally tested it, and then I was just blown away by how good it was.
Well, yesterday we were testing, and you were on.
I was actually on Cthulhu's.
And I was on
Incarnate. Yes.
And then we just both ended up playing this. Well, because Cody was playing Arla, so then we switched it to
Adam's list.
To Adam's list, and then we were like, oh, this is just the best.
Yeah, and we were just well, it's just it has so much game against so many decks, and Bo is very powerful, and you have a lot of game. Basically.
Okay, well, why don't we go through the list real quick? Let's talk about some of the interactions. Okay. We can talk a little bit about the event. Let's just do what we normally do in these videos. People who watch them know what we do.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go through it.
Okay, cool. So starting off with Arla, you actually don't flip this all too much. You mostly use it to give your bows 4 counters, and that's honestly enough. Sometimes you can just OTK with it, but it's honestly pretty good. All right, so Glenn's.
Best card in the game.
Best card in the game.
And we're gonna get a ton of negative comments for that because some people disagree. Some people think it's Cheshire Cat. Some people think it's Rook Egg. Some people think it's
if you're okay, if you understand what the game is about, then you will understand that the Guinevere is the best card in the game. It's one of the only cards that allow you to generate card advantage. It gives you an intense amount of card selection, and it combos with a ton of things, helps dodges removal. There's just so many things the reasons why Gwen is so good. And yeah, it really is a format warping. I wouldn't say format warping, but it's a very, very powerful card. I think it is the best card in the whole entire game right now. Every single deck should be playing 4 copies of Guinevere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If they can.
If they can, absolutely. Yeah. So next, 4 Percivals.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Percival, pretty self-explanatory. The targets in this deck are Artemis, Leviathan, Death Scythe, Hector, Lancelot, and that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, and in the board there's Maribel as well.
Right.
But basically it doesn't hit too many things, but it'll sometimes whiff. Like today it whiffed twice. But a lot of times you just use it to get a regalia, and then it has additional utility later on. It's just it's a 2-for-1. You can also sack it to Gwen. There's so many synergies with it too. It's just really, really great.
It's a great card.
Yeah, sure. One of the better cards in the game. Yeah. Yeah. So 4 Rook Egg. Again, very good.
This deck just plays good cards.
Yeah, this is just a good card deck. This is you start off with a base okay, so what are the best cards in the game? You got Guinevere, Rook Egg, and Percival. Oh, well, let's just toss it in a deck and call it a day.
What? Lancelot's pretty good.
Lancelot's pretty good too.
That was foreshadowing.
Yeah.
How do we know Lancelot's in the deck yet?
Right. So so Rook Egg. Your targets in this deck are Guinevere, Rook Egg itself as well, Lancelot, Hector, Susano, and Little Dread, and I think that's it. Yeah. Yes. That is all one.
I mean, sorry, Snow White.
I covered it. Snow White. I got you.
Oh, thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Someone's got to make sure I'm doing things right on this side of the camera.
Maybe you started off on the wrong track, but we got all right. So Rook Egg, very self-explanatory.
Yeah.
All right. Lancelot, another self-explanatory good cards. This is just a good stuff deck, honestly.
And then, Lancelot's pal. Throw the pal in there.
Sure. Lancelot and friends.
Friend.
Friend.
Only has one friend.
Oh.
Kind of like you. It's just me.
Just you. Shit. All right. Anyways, Lancelot, another very, very good card. It allows you to put a lot of pressure. It allows you to play. Like, you're not just like sitting back and being, reactive. You get to be proactive with this card and force them in uncomfortable situations with Lancelot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a great aggro card, but in this deck, it's not just an aggro card. It's also something that puts them on the back foot, which allows you to set up and do a lot more things as well.
Now, what do you think of Hector? But more importantly, what do you think of Hector just at 1?
Hector's very good at 1 because 1, it can get searched out by Percival or Rukeg, and it's just like a ton of utility with this. It allows you to cheat pumping 4 mana. Actually, a lot of my matches, I just pumped 4 mana into Lancelot and just got rid of a guy. I was just like playing straight board control.
Right.
So like this, allowing you to cheapen that cost, honestly, it's very strong.
You wouldn't want to play it at more than 1?
I don't think so. It just gets. I don't want to say the word cloggy, but like having multiple copies is often very bad. And a lot of times you just sack this away after you get the effect.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You really because he dies to the bow. That's the problem. Like,
yeah, it's one of the problems.
That's why you just sack him away.
It dies to flame as well. There's just like it's good for what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Cool. Next thing.
All right. There's Snow White. Yeah, this card's also pretty good too.
Way better than I thought it was.
Yeah, it actually overperformed for me today because it's just like it in conjunction with Flame King Shout beats a ton of decks. It beats so many decks. Like, there were multiple games where I went Flame King Shout, Snow White, and just completely decimated the door. There's like 5 guys on the board, and I had nothing. I just go Flame King Shout, Flame King Shout, Snow White, wipe your attack, kill off your Gwaine, attack into Lancelot, and then they just have no board.
Yeah, exactly.
And then just like they're -5 cards basically.
Right. And because you're dropping that through Flame King Shout, you're still only paying 3.
Right.
Flame King Shout is a ridiculous card.
It's not the worst. I kind of want to play a 3rd, but
yeah.
It's honestly at 2 it wasn't even that bad.
No, I really liked it. I thought it put in a lot of work, especially in conjunction with Cinderella. I mean, Snow White. Why do I call her Cinderella?
You never get it.
Oh man.
All right.
Usually you're the one making the mistakes.
Okay. So next one is 4 Little Dreads.
4 Little Dreads.
This is actually the one that needs the most explaining, I think, because Little Dread honestly seems. I mean, it is a late game card, right? It gives you a ton of. It gives you kind of consistent. I wouldn't say consistent, but it gives you a lot of very powerful plays.
Right.
Like, so what you can do is you can kill a lance and steal something else and force them to sack both of their things and make them go minus.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. It's just the thing is like. At least for me today, a little dread after a little dread after a little dread.
Yeah.
Like, you just cannot keep up.
Yeah.
With that kind of it's pressure, really. You're just clearing their board.
Well, no, yeah, it's just like it swings the board into your favor,
exactly.
And it like a lot. Like there were a lot of times where I just like 3-for-1 somebody with a little dread. I would like to play like 5 or 6 copies if I can.
Yeah.
Like this card is so good.
And
like,
this is like the Reiser card. He loves
absolutely. This is a card that he was really pushing forward.
Right.
Like, and I'd have to agree. Like, it's very powerful, and he's completely right about it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's just so many things to do with it. Or also another thing is like when you take their guy, you can sack it with Guinevere and Leviathan as well. Leviathan almost always was a sack outlet to Little Dread. Like almost always. Like I think I flipped Arla once today. No, I actually don't think I flipped Arla at all today.
Yeah, I didn't flip Arla.
Yeah, but Leviathan was just honestly like really, really solid. Like because I could just sack away whatever it was, or I used the Leviathan also to dodge Pastor as well. But that's just a different thing.
That's a whole other story.
Yeah, but anyways, this card is very, very good. I would play this at 4. Honestly, seeing multiple copies isn't that bad against Incarnate. They will be taking this card a lot because it's very, very threatening. Right. And having multiple copies means that you don't run out that quickly. All right, cool beans. All right, 2 Susano.
Great.
All right, this card's awesome. I mean, it's searchable with like Rugeg, which is great, and it's something that you're really, really comfortable with paying 6 mana for. Like you play it, you shoot it, something, and you get in for 12. Like this allows you to pressure a lot of decks that aren't really doing all that much.
Right.
Like,
and even the decks that are doing a lot.
Right. You stabilize against them instantaneously. You kill a guy, you attack another guy, they have no board.
Right.
Right. So it's just like another great stabilizing card in conjunction with Little Dread. There was also another ruling that we had at the tournament, which was my Sasano shoots a Little Dread, and he stonings in response to the trigger on the stack. And we were wondering if the damage was still done. During the tournament, it was ruled at the time was that the effect wouldn't go through. But after talking with a couple of judges, last known information still applies to the effect, right. So it still actually matters. So if you play this and you shoot something and they kill it in response, you still get to shoot whatever.
Because it goes by last known information.
Right. That's what I thought too.
Right.
But
it's not checking for the because the argument was it doesn't check for how much
because it moves zones.
Damage is going to do. Right.
Right. Last known information just doesn't apply in that sort of case. But now, I mean, I guess now it does.
In this particular situation, it does.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if we can get like Stephanie Shaw on this or something, to double check, to double verify this again.
Right.
Great. Right. But anyways, solid card. I really loved it.
Yes. And the card.
All right. Bo, this card is amazing. Like, it really is.
Absolutely. You did a weird thing when you said amazing. Can you do it one more time?
Oh, no.
Okay, tell us about Bo.
No, this card is awesome, though. Like, honestly, Bo on 4 counters is just so scary.
It's stupid good.
It's stupid good. Like, it's not only is it, like, it's just a psychological thing too. It's like you're really afraid to attack into it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just really minus EV to just run your guy and have it get killed by just only 2 counters and they still have 3 more.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Every single mode of these is actually very relevant. Like in I know in some variants of Cthulhu Blazer, like Antyn's plug to Team Tavern. You can, if they play Underground Dragons, you can honestly just, you can use the second ability to get rid of a standby, which a lot of people don't know about, or you can get rid of an Ame no Habakiri as well.
Right.
2 of these means most ground dudes can't get through. Like you get 2 of these, you come up the ground, right? 3 of these, and it's basically they can't ever get through. They have to build a huge board. They have to go wide, and you can punish them by Flame King shouting them.
Right.
And then if they're going wide, and you still have the counters on your thing.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And killing something for 4 with flying also relevant as well. There was a game where I killed a Gweaver with a bow, which was really great.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. I had some pretty sick plays at the tournament. It was pretty awesome.
Side note, real quick, I just got told in my ear that another Team Tavern member, Zach Tufford, got first at his ARG State.
Yes.
So every single Team Tavern player who went to a state ARG ended up getting within top 8.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, actually, I think it was even top 4. I think Quinn got top 4, and then
Quinn got top 4. Antyn got top 4.
Antyn got top 4.
And then me and Zach got first place. Poor Adam.
He couldn't play.
He couldn't play. He's in Hawaii right now. So
we love Adam. All right.
Adam's awesome.
Let's talk about the next card.
All right. So Leviathan. All right. This card was actually just a sack outlet. Like I just use it to sack things. Like you use it to dodge Haster by sacking your whole entire board to it, and you also use it to sack away whatever you Little Dread, basically. Right. So this allows you to to go really ham with Little Dread.
Right, because whenever you steal with Little Dread, you just sack away with Leviathan.
Yeah.
It's so dirty.
Honestly, like this card did better at sacking away stuff than Guinevere did.
Yeah.
Because Guinevere is actually really awkward because you have to sack it during your turn.
Right.
And you can't keep it up to dodge removal and stuff like that.
Right.
Whereas this, you can play it the turn you play the Little Dread as well.
Exactly.
And it comes as a surprise. You're like, oh, they're taking the thing, I'm probably getting it back. No, you're not getting it back. I'm 3 for 1-ing you.
Brian.
Yeah.
You're not going to give it back?
No. Give it back.
All right, what's the next card?
All right. 2 Death Side. Card is it's in the main board to hedge against the J Ruler based decks, but honestly, like it's fine on its own. Like being able to draw 2 cards and pitch the Death Scythe and then bring it back to your hand and pitch it again, like you go really plus with this card.
Absolutely.
It's honestly like, quite fine. I found myself boarding this card out a lot,
Mhm.
but it's honestly fine filler.
Yeah.
I like it better than most other things in the deck.
Yeah.
So
What? I don't. I think most other things in the deck are better than that card.
yeah, but we're playing 4 of them.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we can't go to 5 or 6 like I want to.
Death Sight's a good card.
Yeah,
It just lets you plus off Guinevere in like the most ridiculous way.
It also punishes people for playing, J-Lube-based strategies.
Yeah,
Which is nice.
yeah, we like to punish the J-Lube strategy.
And having a main board thing that actually still is okay to play.
It's
almost fun. Okay.
Your least favorite card in the deck?
Oh yeah, Thunder.
We hate Thunder.
I hate Thunder. Like, it's so strange to say it, but like I think Thunder sucks. Like it has underperformed for me almost always. Like you never want to hold it up because so here's the thing about Thunder. Like a Demon Flame goes into the same category as well. Oh yeah. No, I'm firing shots. I don't think Demon Flame is as good as people like Demon Flame Arla and Arla's bow is it's honestly very good, but I personally don't like it because it's not a proactive strategy. It's a reactive strategy. Right? So you're leaving mana up, right? Usually in increments of like 1, and if you're like boarding into Melgus and you have 1 mana up, you can't utilize that mana afterwards. It's just very, very reactive, and you can get punished really hard for, not tapping out and utilizing your mana efficiently. So something like Thunder, like it's almost always not a chance be sort of removable, or like it just doesn't do anything. Why did you run 2 of it then? It's honestly like you still want an out to Gwen, like especially game 1. So it's good at outing Gwens. It also is very good against the Cthulhu Blazer matchup, which is like you just point it at their face, and because like in that sort of matchup, it's all about putting pressure on them. And because if they take damage, they can't gain it back at all. So you just have to keep chipping them down, and hopefully you can kill them. This definitely helps towards that plan. So this is why you're playing Thunders over Demon Flames, because you have a lot of outs to big stuff. You have Little Dreads as your outs to big stuff. You have Susano as your outs to big stuff. So honestly, you're killing big things really efficiently. Like Meph, Weaver, Bow. You have a lot of good answers to big stuff, which is what Demon Flame is very good against. But Thunder hits face. Demon Flame doesn't hit face. Yeah. All right. It's just marginally better. All right. 2 copies. Flame King Shoutout. I think probably one and a third one. This card was very good and often overperformed, but to be fair, I played in a lot of matchups where it was very good. Like for example, I played a lot of Blazer Knights today, and I also played a Valentina deck today, which honestly was pretty fun to play against. It's probably the worst against Blazer Cthulhu's, but against most like Lancelot-based strategies, this card is nuts, especially in conjunction with Snow White. It's just like wombo combo. It's really, really great. Okay. So one of Dreams of Juliet. This card was miserable for me. This card sucked. So the main reason why we played this was because we thought that people were going to be playing Robo the Fire Rat main. We thought it was going to be in the main board. Yeah, we thought it was in the main board because honestly, it's not that bad in the main board because the best decks in the format play red. And they play Lancelot, they play Gwen, they play, a lot of aggressive strategies. Like, Robo the Fire Rat really wrecks me. Like, it really does. Yeah, like, it's tough. It's definitely an uphill battle if somebody lands a Robo the Fire Rat on you. Luckily, none of my opponents play Robo the Fire Rat. So that was just great for me. Like, I rolled pretty well. But, like, I actually only cast this card once. And it was for blinking my own Percival so I could try and find another bow. So it had a lot of like marginal utility, but the thing is like this card is very, very minus tempo. Like you're losing a lot of, by keeping mana up, you're losing a lot of time basically. And you're playing it as a sorcery. Like honestly, the effect isn't worth 2 mana. You could be doing so many more powerful things, like killing their whole entire board, for instance, or attacking them in the face. So what you're saying is what you prefer is if this card here was just a 5th copy of Little Dread. Oh, absolutely. And yeah, if it was just it just did something, But honestly, it was just like a nod and a respect to Robo the Fire Rat. Just in case. Maybe somebody's playing it main, It was a meta call. We were a little off. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't fine. I mean, it was fine. Oh. I had a Freudian slip. I said it wasn't fine. Oh, okay. When I wouldn't say it was fine, but maybe it wasn't fine. Okay, you're terrible. If 2 trains are driving at each other at the same speed. Oh, shut up. Okay. Okay. All right. So, Stone Deck. First, Little Red. Pretty self-explanatory. You're almost always naming this. It has a lot of marginal utility with, like Lancelot or Snow White. Just I watched you in the event
call white on that.
Oh, that's because I was desperate and I hit like 3 red.
I think it was 4.
4 redstones in a row.
And then you needed a white.
Yeah, it was just like I don't like to call white on this, but if I have to, I have to. It's just like it's just another.
It's a good card. It's a good card, obviously. Or stone.
All right. 4 red white stones. Gotta play your Percivals, right? And then 5 red stones. Very, 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 very self-explanatory.
Perfect.
Cool beats.
Let's talk about the sideboard.
Let's talk about the sideboard. All right.
Talk about the rulers first.
Okay, fine. I was gonna talk about the thank you shot.
I want you to talk about the rulers first. This is my video.
Melgus. This card is pretty good. So you board this in against the Blazer Cthulhu matchup, because the amount of reach that you get towards the end game, they just can't interact with this sort of reach. So that puts them on the clock, and that means they have to get aggressive against you. Problem is, you're the aggro deck and they're the control deck. So it puts them in a really, really bad position. It makes the matchup so much more favorable.
Because you're using it to do 200 damage to their face.
Right. You're basically using it almost exclusively for the flat effect, where you just sink your mana into it and just like dome them for 200 each time. Yeah. Sometimes if they don't have Death Scythe, you can use it to OTK them. Right. Great. But mostly you just want to use it for the reach, and it means that you just want to get really, really aggressive with this sort of card.
Right.
Basically only for that matchup. Right. I mean, there might be some other fringe matchups that you might want it for, but that is the main one. All right, Blazer, mainly for 28 Regalia. It's just like you have to respect it. It's like Dredger Magic. Like if you don't respect it, you're gonna die.
Right.
Yeah. So respect.
Respect. R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
Shut up. Okay.
You usually sing along when I sing.
No, I do.
Why didn't you not just now?
Because we're on video. And it says it's exclusively because we're on video.
Bryan Lue, the Bashful.
Yeah.
That's your Force of Will name. What else is it?
Brian the Bashful. Okay. So Flame King Shout. This card was really great, but this probably can be put into the into the main.
Well, over the
dream.
Card, the dream.
Yeah, the dream could go in the sideboard. So this can be like switched. But basically, I don't want more than 3 copies in the deck, so this is at 1 currently. Okay. Yeah, we've already explained this card. Okay. So Amino Habakiri. All right, this card's actually pretty good. It's good against the surprisingly good against the Cthulhu matchup, and it's good against any rogue deck that doesn't really put a lot of pressure on you. So basically, this helps you close out games super duper quickly, and it punishes people for not playing good removal or being able to deal with your threats. I currently don't like it against like Blazer Knights or let me think of another deck. I guess like a Vlad control deck, where your Resonator is a little more fragile. But like this really, really helps in like getting in a whole bunch of damage, especially in the Cthulhu matchup, where like you just take advantage of a time where they can't really deal with your threats. You slam it and you just get in for a little bit of damage and finish them off with Melgus. Like this is all about getting in for damage. You can use it in conjunction with Susano. It's just like, and they also have to, when they look at your hand and they see this, it's like,
it's a decision.
I think I have to take this. Like
too much power for one hand to handle.
Yeah, like you don't really board it in against like the bow decks, but like it's fine. But what a Duel of Truth. This card is like okay, like it's good against the this was a nod to the Blazer Knights matchup. I thought this card it worked out decently for me, but I saw myself like wanting to discard this a lot. I could see this card becoming signed to the future, just like having a little more impact against the guys that go really, really wide.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good card. Chris gave us the idea for the card yesterday, and we threw it in the sideboard
just to try it out. I didn't really test it, but like honestly, it did well for me.
Yeah,
but I would much rather have it be more impactful.
Yeah, exactly.
There is a card that fills the same role that is more impactful.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Right. So 1 Leviathan to pair with the Melgus. So we're playing 3 in the main. We board the 4th one for Melgus. So that whenever you play this card, they have to respect the flip. So it means that they have to put the Death Scythe, and then that means they go -1. Whereas you still get utility from your Leviathan being on the board. They don't get any utility from Death Scythe being on the board.
Exactly.
So you traded 1 for 1, and you won the trade basically. In the it's just like sort of like Regalia battle,
Right, yeah. There's something else going on there.
Right.
Deep inside.
Okay.
Another one of those. Sign of the future.
So,
card. We should
no. This is actually we still want probably 2 in the sideboard because you still want to respect Robe of the Fire Red. Robe of the Fire Rat
That's
is a
true.
very,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
good card
that's true.
currently. Because like the red decks are the best decks right now. It's just like
Right,
hands down.
right.
That you cannot play a good deck without red decks. Without red. Mainly because Gwen Egg. The Gwen Egg synergy is really good, and just Gwen is the best card in the game.
Right.
So you have to respect it. And in order to, and if you want to respect it, you want to play Robe. Like Robe is a very good answer to that, and this is a good anti-out to Robe.
Right.
So it's just like this is just us thinking like 2 or 3 steps ahead
Right.
of other people.
They're going to board in robes. We're going to board in that to get rid of it.
Right.
And the dance begins.
Yeah, and like once you get in a position where like you have robes and like they have robes, like whoever breaks that robe mirror wins basically. So it's just another something to consider about. But yeah, I can see this being at 2 in the sideboard, and it's just a piece of respect basically.
Yeah.
All right. 2, Maribel. Basically, this is exclusively for the mirror match. There were 2 other people that were playing this tournament with me as well, Kyle and Cody, with this basically the same exact deck. And if we managed to play against each other, we wanted something to be able to deal with the 4 counter bows, you know, because it's just honestly.
We wanted to be able to beat each other.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Only Kyle and Cody played against each other because like my record was just like too good or something. I don't know.
Okay, well, first of all, that shot right through my soul. That hurt my feet. Brian, can you apologize?
Shots fired?
Can you apologize?
No, absolutely not.
Hurt my
I
feelings.
absolutely meant that.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
let's go to the next card.
Okay, let's go to the next card. Yeah, Maribel basically only for the mirror match and and 28 regalia. 3 Robe of the Fire Rat. So I talked about this a little bit earlier, but this card is pretty freaking awesome. Like, you stop a lot of the aggressive decks from like just like straight up beating your face in. It stops Susano, it stops Blazer, it stops a lot of the like Gilderai, like it stops the big threats, and it also is worth playing early and stems so much bleeding that it's just like slam on turn 2, and they're just like, I guess we play a really long game. Like, and long games do not favor the red. I mean, like the really aggressive red decks, basically. Right. Yeah, and this turns off Susano, which is like really, really good. Like if they want to commit a whole bunch of mana into tapping down your Robe of the Fire Hat, that really favors you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So keep in mind that you can use the ability to prevent the effect damage as well, and not just the combat damage.
Right, and you can use it before your recovery phase.
Yeah.
To be able to tap 2 out if you need to that turn.
Right, so you can blank one of their guys and then attack freely, basically.
Exactly.
And just like remember, you can hit Lancelot with this, you can hit Snow White with this, and you can hit Susano with this.
If it's red, you can hit it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and finally, 2 Death Scythe.
Well, we talked about this earlier, just the other 2.
Respect for the 28 regular matchup. It's a thing, gotta respect it. Blazer for Death Scythe, gotta respect it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So that's all the cards in the deck. Brian, good stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks, Adam, for getting us all on
awesome
board.
Deck, yeah.
But here's the thing, real quick, before I let you go, we have a long drive back to California.
Absolutely.
But I want to get your opinion here. I asked Antyn, I want to ask you as well.
Mm-hmm.
What, give us a minute on what you think about the meta right now. How's the game doing? What do you think?
What did Antyn say?
Antyn said it's very red focused, and I don't know, a bunch of compliments to me or something. You don't have to do the same thing, but I mean, he's
I compliment you.
He's a good guy. Yeah, but he did an extra compliment, so
okay,
you
cool
can
beans.
throw some my way.
All right, no, Antyn already made up for me, so I'm not gonna give you any. All right, so so in terms of meta, red is king, definitely, because just like the creatures are just so powerful.
Right.
Namely, like Guinevere being the best card of the deck, Rook-Egg, which allows you to have access to like so much flexibility, and when you get, it gives you so much more consistency in terms of like, and a lot more options to deal with threats. You have, did I say Lancelot already? No, Lancelot, right? Lancelot, you have Snow White, you have Little Dread, and you have Susano, and all of these do a really good job of killing other creatures, but they do them all very differently, and you can toolbox them all out with Rook-Egg.
Right.
So, like, red is definitely very, like, the core of red is very, very powerful right now.
Yeah.
So there's honestly no reason not to play red.
What I do like to see is the diversity.
Oh, yeah,
we're seeing
absolutely.
a lot of different decks we're playing.
Yeah, I think that, so the strongest decks that I think right now are Blazer Knights, Blazer Cthulhu, this Arla red deck. I think Valentina is a solid tier 2. The Vlad aggro list is not terrible as well. It has a very good matchup against Blazer Cthulhu. But it gets a little worse after they board in Robo the Fire Rat. But it kind of works the same way with Novice, basically. They can't.
So what are the top three?
Top three?
Or is there 4 top ones?
I'd say probably Blazer Knights, Blazer Incarnate, and All Red.
And then where's Bahamut?
Bahamut? Oh, Bahamut's very good.
We got to respect Bahamut.
Yeah, you have to respect Bahamut.
Quinn went like undefeated.
Yeah, he went undefeated with it. I would say Bahamut would be the 4th one then. Absolutely. Yeah. Like, it's just like, you have to respect the J Ruler, and like, if you don't respect the J Ruler enough, he'll just flip Bahamut and kill you.
Yeah,
right?
Bahamut's strong.
Yeah, very, very strong. And like, it just has a lot of reach. Like, you have access to Gilderai anytime. Basically, you don't even need a Rook Egg. It's just like, it has a lot of like aggressive like pressure, which is really, really great. So top 4 name basically all red decks. well, actually no. Blizzard Cthulhu is actually more of a black deck.
That's true.
Now that I think about it, it just takes advantage of just like the cheap black cards and removing the stuff in 2-for-1s. So yeah, that's actually more of a black deck, but it plays red cards to supplement it. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a good amount of red.
It's got a.
Anyway, so Brian, we appreciate it. We're gonna go drive home. Now, of course, this video was over 30 minutes because you can't stop talking. And everybody, remember, if you need anything, go to forceofwilltavern.com. That's FOW tavern.com. FOW tavern.com. Also, make sure to subscribe, like us on Facebook. Listen to the podcast, Source of Will. I mean, we throw a lot of content at you, and we need some people to listen to all of it. It can't just be me and Brian.
Yeah, I can't just be the only one listening.
Exactly. All right, well, we're going to head out of here. Appreciate you guys, and have a good one.